This is the show that has hosted everyone from Sugar Ray Leonard to Keith One-Time Thurman. This is Tough Talk Tonight, brought to you by Heavy Bag Boxing.
Welcome to another episode of Tough Talk Tuesday. As always, I'm your host, Lucas Biggers. Alongside me, I got Robert Alexander, Jules, Auguste. How's it going, guys?
Yo, what's up?
It's that weekend, you know. It's Cinco de Mayo weekend, so you know it's going to be a big fight weekend. But this weekend, or this year, not so much, right? I mean, Canelo Ryder does not have that big pop that you're hoping for on a Cinco de Mayo fight. Jules, I'm going to come to you first. Are you a little disappointed?
You know what? I'm not disappointed, Lucas. And I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay.
Canelo has been giving us big fights for a long time. We got to give him that. I mean, he's been giving us, you know, I would say fights that we want to see for a while. I would say going back to when he fought, you know, Floyd Mayweather. So especially after the fight with Bivol, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I say, you know what? If he wants to fight John Ryder, I'll give it to him. You know what I mean? So I'm not disappointed. Now, if you ask me a question, if I'm gonna, it's a must watch. That's a different answer. But I'm definitely not gonna say that I'm disappointed.
Okay. So definitely not the fight that you would like, but not necessarily disappointed. I see what you mean there, and I'm not completely disagreeing. You know, Canelo has been putting on some big fights there, but at the same time, I almost feel like, you know, you might as well just fight Jake Paul or something. Just make a silly fight, you know, something like that. I don't know.
But this is the thing, you know, it's funny. Before this show, I was watching John Ryder versus Daniel Jacobs. And granted, I gave Daniel Jacobs the fight. I thought Daniel Jacobs won. But it was a close fight. It was a very close fight. You know, he fought a guy who Canelo fought and beat also in a close fight. So I'm not going to say that John Ryder is a guy who should be counted out. Do I have him winning? Absolutely not. But I'm going to say that this is a guy who can give a good fight. And I don't think too much time because I know Rob, you're up next. But I personally feel that, you know what? This is the perfect time to be on your A game against Canelo. Who knows how Canelo is after that fight against Bivol? We don't know what his mental state is. Physically, we know he's going to come in shape. But mentally, I don't know who he is after that loss. That's the worst loss of his career from a physical standpoint. Mayweather was just a boxing lesson. His Bivol was just a physical manhandling, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's got to hurt the confidence, I'm sure. And he has seemed to go, I don't want to say maybe downhill. Maybe he finally got to that weight that's going to give him some issues now. Like I said, he has been the biggest weight bully for the most part. He blows up and then fights these guys. He made his own weight class there for a long time. Rob, I want to see how you feel about it. Are you a little disappointed with this fight? Like Jules said, I mean, he has been given good fights. He's been given good opponents. And I don't think anybody's too excited for John Ryder.
For some reason, right now, when it comes to sports right now, this weekend is turning into one of the biggest sports weekends out there of the summer. It's like the start of the summer. And Canelo's been fighting on this weekend every single year, right? Well, now look at what he's going up against this weekend. You're going up against the Kentucky Derby. You're going up against the NBA playoffs. Of course, you got MLB baseball season in full swing right there. And now to boot, you have a UFC event on the same night.
Yeah.
So we deserve a caliber matchup if you're Canelo. This is a perfect weekend for you not to just put your name out there, which is what he's been doing, but to give us the caliber of a matchup like a Bivol matchup, like a Triple G type matchup when you're out there. It's your time to shine, so to speak, because of how big this weekend is and you're competing with all these other sports. So it doesn't make sense for you to come out there with a name like John Ryder. Now, is he going to capitalize on it? Maybe so, because the bars are still going to show it. The The bars are still going to show it. There's spots out there that are showing it live, having watch parties, this and that. People are actually going to be coming down off of the Kentucky Derby high, and it's right in between the NBA playoff series. So he probably will be able to capitalize on it money-wise, but in my opinion, this should be like Canelo's Super Bowl every year, not just a matchup where you see a Canelo fight.
Right. I think for me, it just feels like a setup win for him at home. You know what I mean? He's going to Mexico for the first time in for however. It just feels like I'm gonna get my win. I'm gonna pick my opponent. I'm gonna get my win. That's the thing is, I'm gonna say Canelo does give us some good fights. I'm surprised he took on Bivol. I was the one that kept saying he ain't gonna do it, and he did it, and we saw the results. But I had that feeling. But he has been giving us these fights. The problem is when he doesn't. I mean, it's just he gets these gifts. He gets Yildirim. How do you get a mandatory Yildirim fight? He should not be in any mandatory type fight. He had lost like 4 in a row, and WBC panders to him though. They pander to Canelo, so he's going to get it. Now, my next question to you both is: this a lose-lose situation for Canelo, right? Because you knock Ryder out, you knocked Ryder out. But Ryder makes you look somewhat questionable. That's a lose too. There is no win as far as I can see for Canelo. I mean, even a first round knockout, people just be like, you should have did that, right?
Well, he's going to fight on Cinco de Mayo every year. Yeah. He is. No matter who his opponent is. The crazy thing about this situation is a year ago, he lost to Bivol on this same date. And beforehand, he was known as Mr. Cinco de Mayo. Never lost on Cinco de Mayo. Always fought. Always gave us a great show. And then he lost to Bivol. So I'm kind of interested in seeing where his head is at on this fight, because I don't think his head was still in it when he fought Triple G the last time, because he didn't put up a showing. My opinion, I think he should have got Triple G out of there with what Triple G was showing, very diminished skills there. I'm very interested in seeing how Canelo responds this year. Is he gonna go for the kill early on? Or, like you said, Lucas, I mean, is he going to show some diminishing skills now? Is his mind still fully in it? Is his heart still fully in it? What's up with Canelo?
I mean, after this, right, we're all just going to be saying who's he going to take on next. And I think we all have question marks about who he can beat now, how good Canelo truly is. I think we've finally seen him start to taper off. Or do you guys not agree?
I'm going to take that one. I don't, to be honest with you. I think, once again, Bivol is just a bigger, stronger man with skill, right? I mean, what's the old adage of boxing? A very good big man is going to beat, a great little man. So, I don't think it's more so of Canelo like falling off. Granted, it happens, right? Father Time is going to catch it to everyone. But, Canelo is not that old. I mean, how old is Canelo? Like 30, 31, right? I mean, granted, he's had a lot of wars.
A lot of fights.
He's had a lot of fights. No, I will say that. He's been fighting since he was, like 15? So, yeah, he's had a lot of fights. But I don't see him, tapering off. As a matter of fact, going back to what you were saying, Rob and Lucas, number one, Canelo, it's not a lose-lose for him, because, once again, he's fighting in Mexico. He's fighting in Cinco de Mayo, right? He's Mexican. That's a win for him, right? They're all going to come out and see him. Even if it's a big sports weekend, for the American fan, for the Mexican fans, it's really not, right? Like, you have the younger generation who may watch the UFC, right? Because Henry Cejudo's in it. I'm sorry, I know there's a boxing channel, but I'm a combat sports whore, so I do love the UFC. So Henry Cejudo's fighting and things of that nature, and it's a good card. But for the hardcore Mexican boxing fans, they're watching Canelo. And, they're going to want to see if Canelo, as probably he may. So it's not a lose-lose for him in terms of the marketability he has in Mexico. I think it's a lose-lose situation in the sport of boxing for him if, as you said, Lucas, he struggles with Ryder, right? Like if he struggles with Ryder, it's going to be like, okay, wait, Canelo, where are you now? And then it's going to be the talks of maybe Canelo is slipping, maybe it is time for him to retire.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, he's young, and nobody's expecting that kind of stuff. So, I mean, he really does have to show up, but I mean, he has to stop him in style. I mean, play with him at times. That's really the only way he can really come out of this ahead. And even then, I question that.
Let me throw
don't you
this
think
out
it's
there.
also going to be the least watched? I mean,
No.
This is going to be really because I mean, every buildup, even for the Canelo fights that are the lower end, like Yildirim, right? They even have more pop than this coming up. I have yet to really hear much at all.
Well, that's because it's on DAZN. And let's face it, they have their problems right now. They have their hands full of problems right now. But I also wanted to bring this to it. Canelo is in his hometown. And we have seen some fighters have lackluster performances when they fight at home because of all the other obligations that come with it. And him fighting in Mexico, there's going to be shit going on backwards and forwards in between this fight. So he's probably going to have a lot on his plate too. So I wonder if that's going to weigh in on his performance as well, with him fighting in Mexico and him having all those obligations and everything going on with the fans this weekend.
I doubt it. I don't think, if anything, it should actually make him step up his game and, give his fans what he wants, because he haven't fought in Mexico. I don't know when the last time Canelo fought in Mexico. But as you guys already know, it's Cinco de Mayo weekend is a very, very big day for the boxing fans, for the fighting fans. And at the same time I feel like what just happened last week with Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis, that's a big shoes to fill in. You know what I'm saying? To go from a fight of that magnitude, Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis, undefeated fighters on the prime, to see Canelo fighting this person that a lot of people don't know nothing about. It's going from riding high to like crashing low. You know what I'm saying?
No, you made a point. I mean, it's just the numbers came out: 1.4 million buys, 1.4 million buys. Even me, I said, "Holy shit!" I was like, I had no idea it was going to do those kind of numbers.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, honestly, I the fight was pretty hyped up, and so a lot of people feel like the fight didn't live up to the hype. But this should tell not only the fighters, the promoters, and the networks, like the fans are ready to pay, the fans are ready to watch, to tune in. Just give them the fights that we want to see. You know what I'm saying? Because we're gonna see this 1.something billion buys. Let's see how many buys we're gonna see on this one.
You make a good point. Like if we had a whole month of just garbage fights, and then we had a Canelo fight, we'd be more excited, right? So, do you think again that this is going to crash and burn this week? It is going to be hardly any views going on.
I mean, honestly, this is more like a homecoming for Canelo. It's kind of like for him to look good, come back from his from the loss against Bivol. So I feel like this is more of like a tune-up fight, just to like get his feet wet again. But honestly, I don't see a lot of excitement towards that fight. You know what I'm saying? Not within the casuals, not within the hardcore boxing fans. And for what I know, it's like most people are gonna tune in just because they want to see a fight on May 5th. They got the date. That's a very special date. But I don't think they're fully delivering what the people want. Give the people what they want, and you'll see results. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of why I pose this question. It is a lose-lose for Canelo, because it doesn't feel like he can win no matter what he does in this fight. I mean, if he wins, it's expected. If he struggles, and especially at home, if he struggles, I mean, you're looking bad in front of your own fans. And sometimes your home can be more brutal than, you're away because they will eat you up, right? If you look bad, they will boo your ass. And there ain't nothing worse than getting booed at home.
At home. And you know what they say, right? It be your own people. It be your own people.
It's always your own people. It's always somebody right? When you die, you murdered somebody looking for you, it's somebody that killed your ass.
Exactly. I mean, hey, that's 90%. That's 90% of crimes, usually somebody that you know of. But I'll tell you what, guys, I got good news for you guys, right? Because this is a lose-lose for Canelo. And a lot of people are just tuning in, like I said, because it's the fight week. But guess who's fighting this weekend?
Hey!
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He's got a phone call. You know what I'm saying? So we're in there. So if you guys don't want to see Canelo, I'll show you my tape after.
Yeah, we definitely got to get that.
We need to put that on the website. We should put that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna see my lady records, and then definitely.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Sir.
Congratulations, Javi. I did want to touch on something, though, Lucas.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
To answer your question, in my opinion, no. I don't think they care about the views. I think they win because of the fanfare that'll come out to the arena in Mexico, because of the crowd, because of the people that'll be there, because of all the celebrations that will be going around him. I think that's what he's looking for.
I agree.
So I don't think they care about what's being viewed.
Listen, they did it for Chavez Jr., okay? And Chavez Jr. lost. You know what I mean? So they're going to do it for Canelo. I agree 100% with Rob.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I heard from a lot of Mexican people that the Cinco de Mayo date is more of an American date. It's not really like a Mexican holiday or nothing like that. But I'm sure that Canelo is probably going to get a little more love than Chavez Jr. You know what I'm saying? Because as much as he has haters, he has also a lot of people that like him. And I mean, the guy's all right. I mean, I wasn't really a fan of Canelo until recently. So I feel like he's doing this more because of 50% of tuning up, trying to like get back in there, and also to give his people like an opportunity to watch him live. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah. I think that's what it is. You know what I mean? It really comes to it, we know how it is, particularly, when it comes to boxing and race and culture. That's always been a racial and cultural sport, right? And Canelo has always been, Viva Mexico and things of that nature. So they're going to come out. And I think is what Javi just said. They know that. Let's be honest. No matter what we feel about Canelo, the guy's a first ballot Hall of Famer. We know that. There's no way guy's not making a Hall of Famer. When he retires, they're going to ask. The question is going to be asked: where do you rank him again amongst the other great Mexican fighters? We know that. So their whole thing is we are going to have the privilege of seeing an all-time great, a how many division champion, who's of Mexican descent. It's going to be mind-blowing this weekend.
Yeah.
I think this last tale is really going to tell the tale of the legend of Canelo, though. He has to finish off strong. And who can he beat else at 168 is the big question. I'm hoping that we get those answers going forward. I'll let him have this tune-up. I'm not going to beat him up too much. But I'm wondering who he's actually willing to take on from here. Is he going to face a Charlo? Is he going to face somebody that's actually going to give him some more competition? Or is he going to bow out with these type of fights?
Is that a question, Lucas? I don't know.
Javi was saying something. He was just muted.
Yeah. No, I feel like, I mean, you have a lot of big players at 168, man. And if you're fighting, the Ryders and the Childrens, I mean, you get a pass against here and there after a tough matchup. But the people are going to see you. They want to see you testing yourself. The people want to see you against somebody that could actually has a chance. Or at least somebody that people know of. Because maybe this guy has a chance. Who knows? Everybody has a chance to glove up. But a lot of people has no idea who this guy is. So they already writing him off automatically. And you already know. The boxing fans, man, they hold no punches. They'll write you off before even they know who you are. Yeah. Now, after you fight and you earn your respect, maybe they can, give you your props. But for now, a lot of people I can see how a lot of people are not happy with it. So if it's a lose-lose, it depends, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like if you see it as a tune-up fight, because that's what it is, that's all there's to it. There's no lose or win. It's just a tune-up fight, getting ready for the next one.
Yeah.
But the only way where he probably will lose is if maybe the fight becomes, I don't know, a 1 or 2 round stoppage or something flops, where the people that want to see him so bad actually go to see him live and some bullshit like that happens, then they're not gonna be happy. And believe me, they're gonna eat him alive if that happens.
That's what I was gonna actually come to next, guys. What if he actually does lose? What if he loses in Mexico to John Ryder?
That'd be some shit.
I'm gonna be honest with you. That's gonna be one of the biggest upsets in boxing history. Like, it would definitely rank up there with your Tyson versus Douglas.
Do you rethink like that whole first ballot Hall of Famer?
I mean, it's like you can't say no because of what he's accomplished. No,
you might.
But, oh my God, if he loses to Ryder, the person who bet on Ryder is going to get paid. Like, that would be a miracle if he loses to John Ryder. I can't see it. I mean, Canelo would have to have. Like, you would have to hear things like that. Canelo was like partying, drinking, smoking. You know what I mean? Not training. There's no disrespect to John Ryder, but once again, I saw his fight with Daniel Jacobs, and I gave Jacobs the win. I didn't even think he beat Daniel Jacobs. It was a close fight. It was very close. Particularly, like John Ryder kind of came on towards maybe like the middle, but I gave Danny Jacobs that win. I didn't see Danny Jacobs winning, and I really believe that Canelo is going to beat him.
I mean, more than likely that's the case. I severely doubt, and speak up if I'm speaking for you and you're going to pick John Ryder, but I think we're all going to ride with Canelo on this one.
Yeah, you're right, Lucas. But let me see if I can sway you a little bit different on this Canelo topic, though, real quick. My dad said it to me earlier, and I think he's pretty much right. So you have to give Canelo credit in this regard. All the best fighters back in the day, Muhammad Ali, all of them, all the best fighters fought at least twice a year.
Mm-hmm.
And Canelo fought, 3 to 4 times last year?
Yeah.
At least the man is fighting.
Yeah.
At least he's fighting.
The problem is, and what I want, what will make him a Hall of Famer in my book, I guess I'm a little bit more strict, but I would love to see somebody actually get an undisputed title and defend it, right? We don't see that. We didn't see that with Crawford, and I'm doubting we're going to see it with Canelo. And look, we've already had talks of Bivol coming down to 168, and I guarantee you that fight will not happen. It won't happen because Canelo knows that number of his is in the back pocket of Bivol's. That stylistically is not good at all for Canelo. That's not going to happen.
But this is the thing, though. Like, could Bivol make 168? Like, he
strongly believes he can.
Really? I'm going to be honest with you. If he thinks he can make 168 and fight Canelo, I think Canelo will be like, all right, you can make 168, make 165. And then we'll fight.
You're right.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. Yeah, I don't feel Bivol can make that weight. Once again, I could be wrong. But if he says he can make 168, I guarantee you Canelo says, okay, you can make 168, come to 165. We'll rematch. And then we'll see if, you know what I mean, you can deal with the weight bully, as you like to call him. Luke.
That's what would happen too. I could see that shit happening. That's Canelo for you. That's what's gonna happen, and I don't appreciate it. He's not gonna defend that undisputed title. I don't believe that shit for a moment. I don't see him going through the gauntlet of any of these young Thundercats coming up. I don't hold him as high regard as some others. Anybody that watches this show kind of knows I hold Canelo with a little asterisk next to him. He likes to make his own little rules, so to speak. But let's go in a little bit and switch topics off Canelo now.
Well, I was going to say, Lucas, on another topic, there's the one issue which you just said is defend the undisputed title at a weight. The problem with Bivol is he can't get that title.
What do you mean? Oh, that's what I was getting ready to go into.
Yeah, that's the problem with Bivol right now is he can't even win that title.
He can't. And let's talk about that. The WBC says Bivol cannot fight for his title. I don't know why I put his
For
their title, but yeah.
Man,
It's goofy to me. It's goofy to me. But we're gonna get into that. Javi, I already heard you pipe up, so why don't you take it?
yeah, you already know how I feel about the WBC. Worst boxing's cancer. So I feel like these people, man, they try to bring the politics into the boxing even more than what the politics that already has. And then on top of that, it's like they try to like to me this is like a virtual signaling bullshit. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to make it seem like, oh yeah, because of the whole political thing with Russia and all of this. Listen, I don't understand how one person that has nothing to do with what his president is doing has to pay or his career has to be affected. Like
I agree.
first of all, this is a guy that is fighting to become a legend in the sport. He's fighting to become a name on it. And now you come and say, "Oh no, we're not gonna sanction your fights, or we're not gonna get you the opportunity." So this man is on his prime. This man just is riding high. He upset Canelo. He won against Zurdo. Like this guy is ready to take over, and then you're gonna stop his momentum because you want to play, the virtue signal bullshit. And you know what? If I was Bivol and Bivol's team, I would recommend be like, you know what? Excuse my language. Screw the WBC. Let's go with the IBF. Let's go with the WBO, WBA, which they're not good either. But I'm sure they probably will put that political shit on the side because the dinero will be too big to pass by. So I honestly don't understand the situation. No, I don't know the reason is behind it, but you already know the WBC. They pretty much twist things around to their convenience or to their fighters' convenience, and I think like this is the case right here. They know Bivol is a force that is unstoppable right now. He has the momentum. Why would you want to stop a guy that has the momentum and that's giving you the fights that we want to see because some political bullshit? That's what I'm saying.
We know it exactly what it is. It's all paper, right? If Canelo was from Russia right now with the money that he's bringing in, they don't give a fuck. Let's be honest. They don't give a fuck about no war. War has nothing to do with this whatsoever.
Real quick, because I gotta stop you because I posted, shared the article, and I gotta go with the facts real quick. Because two things are one, what Javi is saying, the issue there with the IBF, the other people involved
Sanction
are
about
already title is already given. Butterbiev has those titles already, which is the fight that's in question here. Because if Bivol takes on Butterbiev, then he wouldn't be able to win those titles because of the sanctions on Russia. So back to to what Lucas is saying. Also, I want to put some facts on that. Butterbiev is from Russia. So you can't say that they're just excluding or sanctioning off all Russian fighters. There's a process that you have to go through. And the reason why he's able to keep his belts and fight for another title is because he's lived in Canada for the past 15 years, but somebody from his team spoke on those sanctions and appealed it because of the dual citizenship between him, Russia, and Canada. And that was the reason why. They did say that Bivol nor anybody from his team have questioned or appealed or anything with the sanction. So that's an important part of it, because when you say that, yeah, it's political and everything, everybody's sanctioning Russia right now. Everybody. Even in sports. They're not allowed to participate in the Olympics.
He just disappeared.
Sorry.
I think Russia just sanctioned him.
They weren't. They weren't allowed in the World Cup. So I think the issue with Bivol here is that he doesn't agree with the invasion, but he's still proud of where he's come from. And he's probably thinking he's not going to denounce that. And there could be ramifications if he does.
I mean, let's just turn the table. Look, America has fought how many unjust wars? Let's just go there. How many wars has America fought unjustly? How many times we just invaded peace or bombed motherfuckers like Syria? How many times? Ban us, ban America. They're not going to, and there's a reason behind it. It's fucking money, man. That's what it is. I don't care how many ways they try to spin this shit, right? What is he doing? What's one man boxing gonna do? He's Russian. I'm American. I can't change that shit either. If America decides to go bomb somebody, that ain't on my ass. I didn't bomb nobody. I'm not a soldier. If he's a soldier, by all means, don't let him fight for a title. He is not a fucking soldier. He's a guy who automatically said, I don't agree with it. If you don't agree with it, what is he going to do? Move? He can't change his nationality, right? Yeah. He comes where he comes from. He can't help that. And like I said in our off-line talks, right? All these drug problems that come over from Mexico, right? Why don't we ban Canelo, right? If we're going to be political here and be all political correct, right? Why don't we do that?
No,
we know the answer. We know the answer, right?
How about instead of banning somebody from just for being of this country that's doing I don't know what, why don't we actually ban the cheats of the sport, the ones that are popping up positive? Let's start with that one. Fuck all the political bullshit. Let's ban the dirty cheaters. Let's start with that one. Oh, but WBC won't do that. You know why? That dinero, baby.
You catch all these people red-handed, right? You caught Canelo. You just caught Conor Ben. Oh, we're going to accept your fucking egg excuse and your steak excuse. Come on, guys. Look, you don't care about nothing. Look, this guy just came from somewhere, right? He come from somewhere that you don't agree with, who politically is doing something you don't agree with. Oh, you're ostracized, right? Oh, but you're going to cheat and take steroids, possibly try to kill somebody in the ring. You're cool. Come on.
I think they just don't want the heat. I think that's really what it is. It's I'm not going to say cool, but it's popular for every other sport. Like Rob said, if you don't agree with the invasion of Ukraine, anyone who's involved with Russia or supporting Russia, it is popular to punish them or make an example out of them. So I don't think I think boxing is just like, you know what? Okay, we're just going to follow suit. As Rob said, Russia wasn't in the World Cup. They were banned from the Olympics. It's just going with the flow. It reminds me of back in the day when Muhammad Ali was being chastised for, not going to the draft. You know what I mean? It was like, okay, well, he's being ostracized by everyone and things of that nature. Guess what's going to happen? They're going to strip him of his title. And it goes on and on and on. It becomes a domino effect because it was the popular thing to do, right? So I think that's what's going on with the whole Bivol versus Beterbiev situation. In boxing, we know the hypocrisy of boxing. We all know that. You know what I mean?
But this is just the WBC, right?
It's just the WBC, yeah. Right. Now, I'll tell you what, though. I mean, when you had Usyk and Lomachenko choosing not to fight because they wanted to defend their country, everybody praised them. And,
yeah, absolutely. I did too. Yeah.
And the WBC was like, oh well, you guys, it's okay. You can keep your title until you decide when you want to come back. And we praised it, we applauded, all that, fine. But then we cannot blame also Bivol if he decides to be like, well, I'm from Russia and that's my country. And at the end of the day, even if I don't agree what they do, this is my colors. This is what I represent. So we cannot like ban the man for being nationalistic when we just applauded other people for being nationalistic, for having the national pride. Now, my thing is,
and he's not even that proud about it. I mean, he's denouncing the war.
Yeah, and not only that, but like, what if I'll tell you this: if Bivol's team probably is choosing not to appeal, like Beterbiev did, it's because maybe they say, man, fuck these WBC people, or it could be like maybe they have something else cooking. And next thing you know, they're probably gonna have the fight or have like a non-sanctioned fight. I don't know. Let's say in Saudi Arabia and all these other countries where they don't give a fuck about what Russia and America and everyone else is doing. They just wanna, do the sport. And then once they see that there's like 1 million, 2 millions, 3 millions on the table, guess what the WBC is gonna do? You already know, right? they're gonna come in and be like, "Oh, well, guys, we're gonna take back what we said."
Fees.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, I feel like the WBC is just virtue signaling. They're trying to like make it seem like, oh yeah, we're doing the right thing, and they want to show it. But you gotta understand that you're stopping somebody's momentum, somebody that's on their peak, somebody that's doing the things that none of us is giving. Like he literally upset Canelo. He basically just exposed Zurdo, and anybody that you put in front of Bivol right now is pretty much gonna get that defeat, and you're gonna stop that momentum. You don't know what's gonna happen to this guy. Hopefully his team takes matter out of their hands and realize, okay, we can drop the WBC, but we're still gonna be active. We're still gonna do our thing because we cannot stop this ride just because these people want to show the people, oh yeah, we're doing the right thing. The whole virtual signal bullshit. You know what I mean?
Well, my question is, because they're not banning him from fighting, right? They're banning him from winning the title.
Right.
So my question to y'all is
nitpicking. Right.
Does this that's my question. Does this stop him from being able to get those fights? Does it stop the Better Be It fight that was supposed to go on this year because of this ruling or this sanction?
Well, I know it was put on hold, right? Because of all this. I think I was reading that it was put on hold because I know they were having negotiations, was put on hold. So it seems like that is one of the big hiccups of making the fight. But once again, I think in the WBC's point, I think they understand that they put themselves in a pickle, right? Because let's say, for example, they make the fight and they say, okay, you know what, fine. You know what I mean? He doesn't win, he doesn't fight for the WBC title. And they make the fight. Number one, right? They're not going to collect the sanctioning fee. And number two, if Bivol wins and he's not the WBC champion, it's just going to be like, what? You know what I mean? It's just not going to. It's not going to make them sense. We already don't feel the WBC is credible. It's going to even make them less credible because like, okay, well, this guy beat your champion, but he still has the belt. Like, how does that work? It's just not going to make any sense.
And not to mention, like, I mean, if they're still doing negotiations with that fight, well, guess what? Both of them are Russians. It just one of them is just, I guess, naturalized in Canada, but both of them are Russian. Mm-hmm. So if they can make the fight like they had it in Saudi Arabia or in all these other countries that they're willing to host the fight and pay for it, then guess what? I'm telling you guys, mark this right here. If they come up with some millions, some like Arab money, and they realize like, oh shit, we're gonna miss out on this. Oh man, forget what we said. WBC belt, man, we giving belt to freaking Jake Paul. We're not gonna give this belt to a champion that actually deserves it. That's my shit with the WBC. You know what I'm saying? Let me tell you
something. Saudi Arabia, they are paying for some fights, boy.
That's what I'm saying.
They are paying for some fights.
And I'm sure when they see that something else is cooking out there, they want a piece out there. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like, if anything, they should. Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. The WBC is one of the belts that is the most important because that's where the money is at. That's really where the money's at. You know what I'm saying? They pay a lot and they make a lot of negotiations. So a lot of the guys want to have that fight. But also you have the guys where they really don't care. They just want to fight. They just want to accomplish what they want to accomplish. And I feel like Bivol is a throwback, old school. So I would like to see what his team is cooking and what they say about this, because I'm yet to hear from their team. I'm yet to hear from Bivol about this shit. So I want to see what's up with them.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks because Bivol's been nothing but a stand-up guy, if anything. He has not been, combative in any way. He conducts himself very professionally all the time. I have nothing bad to say about Bivol, and it's not some low-level guy that we're talking about, some low-level Russian fighter who's coming over. That would even be more understandable, but this is and should be everyone's 2022 fighter of the fucking year.
Well, right? He beat Canelo, absolutely. Like, he is the fighter of the year. Yeah, I mean, well, last year anyway, yeah.
After Jake Paul, though.
But here we go. James is exactly right. WBC is Canelo's promoter. I mean, he is. They are. No, I mean, I'm sorry.
Correction. WBC is Canelo's bitch.
Look, from when I started this, right? Heavy Bag started off as like me bitching that Canelo was not fighting people. How are you a champion and you're defending against like Brian Rhodes, some low level guys that shouldn't even be getting a title shot in the first place? And they're just like, oh, be patient. This is what WBC told me directly. I have tweets I can show y'all. Oh, be patient. Those fights are coming. Why the fuck you got to be patient? This dude is champ. Defend. You know what I mean? Like, this is stupid.
Lucas with the receipts.
Yeah. and then they started coming like, well, other people are hurt. And I'm like, how about this? How about this? And, they combat it back, but it's all bullshit. Here we go. They're looking out for him, but they can't hide from Bivol. He'll beat Canelo at 160. I agree.
He will.
Like Jules, if he can make 168, I agree completely. He's gonna beat him again.
If he can make 168, he's not gonna have him fight 168. It'll be catch weight like 165.
I don't think Canelo takes the fight. You're right. I think he'll lie or try to get him down somehow.
Not yet, Lucas. They'll take that fight maybe 5 years from now when Bivol is already on the way down or something. They're looking for any type of advantage, any type of flows. They're looking for any type of things that they can take advantage of. And right now, Bivol is not showing any type of weakness, so that's why they're not going to take the fight. But I feel,
who knows? Because he took it at 175. You know what I mean? So we got to give Canelo the credit.
That's a fight that he weighed at. My thing was like they pretty much underestimated Bivol. A lot of us did. I actually thought Canelo was going to win too, until we saw what we did. But I think it was Bivol team the one that said, "Hey, if they want the rematch and the money makes sense, we do it at 168. The only thing that they said is like the only thing that we want is a fair shot, because this whole BS that we had to deal with, not cool. So now since we coming from the win, now we want a fair shot to it." And a lot of people just forgot about that little part. There was a lot of bullshit negotiations to that fight, and they took it because, of course, they wanted the money, Canelo the cash cow. Now they beat the guy. Now they don't need to put up with the BS. Now, Bivol said, "I'm happy at 175, but for the rematch, with the right money and the right requirements, I'll go down to 168." It came out from him. It came out from the horse mouth. So I feel like at 168, he'll beat him again.
For sure. I definitely believe that, but I don't know. He saw stylistically how he matched up, and I think he was very frustrated in there. I don't see him taking that fight. He may say to reporters, "I want that fight," but then that fight will not get made for whatever reason. I don't care if it's money or something else. Canelo will get out of it in his own little way. It's not going to happen. I strongly believe that. WBC, I just have this to say, right? If the rest of the world titles are willing to let Bivol fight for them, what are you really stopping? How are you helping the world? How are you protecting us from this big bad Bivol? You are not. You're hurting the sport of boxing. That's all you're doing, is you're holding the true championship hostage, because that should be Bivol's, right? If he wins, that's Bivol's. That's just how this works. The better man should be the champion, but we ain't gonna get that. Let's move on a little bit here. I want to talk Ryan Garcia dropping Goosen. I understand he's upset somewhat, right, with him not showing up for the loss press conference and all that. But
let me guess, guys, he had death threats too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I didn't mean to cut you off, Lucas, but
no, you're good. You're good.
I feel like, man, listen, I give Ryan Garcia a lot of props for taking this fight. He was the one that made this fight happen. You know what I'm saying? Even when Tank's team negotiation started coming with a bunch of diva requirements, he put up with all the shit because he wanted this so bad. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I honestly never saw the chemistry between him and Joe Goosen, even though his last fights when they were doing good and they won. But at the same time, I don't know how to feel about a fighter when he starts jumping from training to training to training to training, because at some point you lose your essence. You know what I'm saying? At some point, it's like it shows a lot from you. And I feel like Ryan Garcia maybe has the potential to be a great fighter, but the trainer can only help you so much. It has to come from within. So it doesn't matter where he goes. It doesn't matter who he's working. or what gym he's gonna start going. It has to come from within. You know what I'm saying? And the kid has it. It just has to he has to search for it and find it, and you know what I'm saying, and go for it. But at the same time, you cannot blame him either. You know, he had a mole in his camp, and you can blame part of that to the trainer, part of that to the team, and part of that to, of course, most of it to him. Because when you have a fight of this magnitude, you know, you want to keep your circle tight, because that's a lot of shit that could happen, and not a lot of people need to know what you're going through or what's happening before the fight. You know what I'm saying? So if anything, this taught him a lesson. Like, this ain't Hollywood, bro. This ain't an entourage. This ain't a whole let's go break my whole bus school team, blah blah blah. No, bro. This is an important thing. This is a professional sport, and if you don't keep your circle tight, then things like this is gonna happen. And I feel like Goosen not being there after for the post-fight press conference also said a lot. Like, this kid just went through one of his toughest fights in his life. He just tasted defeat for the first time. I think as a trainer, as a coach, you have to be there for your guy at all times. Prior to the fight, during the fight, post the fight, 2-3 weeks after, check on your fight. You know what I'm saying?
It's true.
Because that's the human decency to do. Like, this guy just trusted you with his health. And guess what? You got that 5% of the bag. So at least finish your job. Your job don't finish just right after that bell sounds of the 12th round. Your job finished when you know, after you guys said, you know what, we're done with this. So I can't blame Ryan for that. But at the same time, I have mixed feelings, because I feel like when fighters start jumping from training to training, from gym to gym, they lose a little bit of themselves each time, and then it gets harder and harder to find that, you know, that grit within, you know, to find that instinct within. So hopefully that won't happen to Ryan. He's still young, but he should definitely be more careful on who he's in his team, who he chooses as a trainer, and just ride it out.
What's Goosen saying? Like, why did he not show? Anybody here?
No, I was out trying to find something. I couldn't find anything.
I don't think they interviewed him yet, but I'm sure he wasn't getting no death threats.
Right. I mean, he might have a good reason. People have worked with Ryan, right? And it's came back pretty negatively after that, right? Like, we're talking Canelo, we're talking Espinoza, you know, we're talking that whole squad is now not speaking very highly of Ryan, right? Or his work ethic.
Listen,
a coach can only do so much. Trainer can only say so many things. He's going to keep repeating himself. And I said it last show, and I'm going to give you just a second round. I'm going to give you your time, but I just don't like, the kid has the raw talent, but that grit, I don't know if he can ever get.
I have to stick up for Ryan here, okay? Because, listen.
Go get him, Rob.
We don't know. We really don't. We don't know how great this kid can be yet. We don't. And that's because he hasn't settled on for a trainer. He hasn't settled in for an established team yet. He's worked with too many different people so far in his career. He had the issues with the mental health. All of these things being said, he still was up in the fight to be the face of the sport, right? And he earned that. He earned that right himself.
He earned that. How did he earn that? Tell me how he earned that shit. Issues. How did he earn it? Mental health days? Look at Mike Tyson. Everybody has some fucking mental health issues inside of boxing, okay? But nobody takes fucking days off. Nobody cancels fights and says, oh, I need a mental health day, okay? You don't work at a fucking AT&T call center, motherfucker. You work in boxing. If your head ain't right, you better get your ass right, okay?
So first of all, shame on us, because Mike Tyson did have mental issues and we applauded it. We wanted to
through that shit.
We wanted to see him fight because he had mental issues.
Yeah, we wanted the train wreck. Yeah,
I mean, it takes somebody with some mental issue to step in those rings, right?
That's true.
That's 100%. That's 100%. Anybody that gloves it up actually has mental issues, because it's not right for you to willingly get up there and take blows to the head. You know what I'm saying?
Sorry, Rob. I didn't mean to cut you off, but
yeah, let me finish though, man.
I'm sorry.
Ryan is young enough to where he can come back from this. He definitely can learn lessons in this loss. He definitely can come back from this. He definitely has the tools and the talent, mental capabilities, all that stuff. Again, he's young. Okay, these are all things that he can work on and work out of. What I'd like to see is for him to be dedicated now to the sport, him to get a team that's dedicated around him, and all these things, and then for them to go ahead and live off of that. Because let's be honest, marketing wise, promotion wise, everything, he was still really doing that himself because of his own following. It's not like Golden Boy stepped in and picked this kid up out the street and made him to where he was. He's done it all himself. So there's going to be bumps in the road for him at this young age. So let's not sit here and haul off on Ryan and pencil him out, erase him like Lucas wants to.
Look,
let's wait. Let's be patient like Tank is in the ring. Let's be patient and wait and see what this kid can bring.
But at the same time, look, guys, you know, I'm not trying to shame nobody that has mental issues, because a lot of people deal with it and everybody deals with it differently. But you gotta remember too, we were really hard on Tank when he was catching all these charges and all these, you know, all these other extracurricular activities that he was doing prior to the fight. We didn't even know he was gonna make it to the fight with all these issues that he was having. But yet, with all this bullshit, he went on and he delivered. And we making it seem like, okay, well, he had to do that. But then when somebody says, "Oh, guys, I'm going to quit this fight," right? And then everybody is not giving him props. Nobody's talking about it. It's just like, okay, well, he's supposed to do that, so that's it. That little pat in the back, nothing. But when somebody like Ryan says, "Guys, I have mental issues. I'm gonna have to take a few months for me," we applaud that shit. Like, "Oh yeah, look, he's so brave to talk about it and bring it out to light and blah blah blah." Man, listen, this sport is very, very brutal. And honestly, if you have mental issues, I'm not saying not to do it or to do it, but just understand that no matter what, as a fighter, you're expected to deliver. When you're an athlete, your people expectations of you are high. But when you're a fighter, those standards are gonna be even higher. People are gonna respect from you this grit, this warrior-like mentality. So when you're kind of like not delivering because of your mental state, it says a lot. You know, it puts a lot of question marks into when people look at you. So now I feel like Ryan is young and he can come out from this even stronger. But I feel like that whole mental issue shit, don't use it as an excuse. Use it as motivation. Use it to push you forward, to keep you on the fight. You know what I'm saying? And then there, you not only will gain respect for yourself, but everybody out there, like the fans and everybody in the team, is gonna realize and be like, man, this guy is still working through this after all the shit that he's going through or he's been through. Kind of like what we did with Mike Tyson.
So I have a rebuttal though, because you and Lucas are putting too much emphasis on these mental health issues that he's had in the past.
Yeah, that seems to be. I'm with Rob. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Rob. My apologies.
Oh no. Thank you, Jules.
No, I'm with you 100% because he's overcame that and he made the fight. And as a matter of fact, he's taking responsibility for his losses and the mistakes he's made. He's actually matured a lot. I have my own theories about the trainer. I don't want to take too much time. I think that's a negative, but overall, I think he's grown. I'm sorry, Rob, go ahead.
No, absolutely. And you talk about the mental fortitude. Give him credit to take the mental fortitude to make the weight cut. Give him the credit to take the mental fortitude to make the rehydration clause.
Yeah, exactly.
And still step in the ring and still step in the ring with the monster.
Exactly.
Give him credit for coming off the canvas
I think
give him credit for agreeing to cut the weight from a person who's missed weight before. Like, you know what I mean? Listen, I have nothing but respect for Tank. Okay,
Yeah.
I will actually give him the whole new face of boxing. But let's be honest with you. Who did not laugh when Tank Davis made that whole weight clause thing? I was like, Tank, please tell me you're joking. Like, Ryan Garcia has never made a problem making weight.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But look, I don't want to sound like I'm writing him off, Rob. I know that's what you said. Maybe I am, but let me put it to you this way, right? He's been. How many fights does he have now? I mean, and he has had the same flaws. The same Ryan can be seen from practically a decade ago, right? As a fighter, he has not really matured. He has not developed any. He has had the same issues. It's the same pulling out with your chin straight. That's some basic shit, right? I mean, that's basic. That's like day one, right? If this cannot be taught, if this cannot be learned, if he is not coming to camp or learning anything new, then what's the point? I don't know if he has that. Now, I keep coming back to the mental issues because mentality is a big part of boxing, right? And if you can't dig down deep, if you can't pull that grit out of you, you're going to get beat the fuck up in this sport, right? I mean, you look at Victor Ortiz is what came to mind when he said, I don't think I should be getting beat up like this. That's that kind of mentality that you cannot have in the sport of boxing.
Lucas, I hear you, Lucas, but I once again, I'm on Rob's side. That's not with Ryan Garcia, though. Like, Ryan Garcia is not saying, I don't think this is for me. This is a guy who's gotten up from the canvas a few times to fight back. This is not like Ryan Garcia is not showing, and I'm sorry for the lack of a better term, he's not showing that he's a pussy. Like, he fights. Ryan Garcia fights. Right? This is the thing about Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia, he shows the changes in his game when he's in control of the fight. And that's what was going on with Reynoso. With Reynoso, he was in control of the distance. He was in control of the pace. So you see him using the jab. You see him keeping his opponent at bay. What happened with Tank was putting that pressure on him. And that's when he reverted to his old habits. The pressure, the power. That's when Ryan Garcia was freaking out, chin up.
He was the
relying on the left hook.
Garcia was the one putting the pressure on.
Yeah.
Garcia was the one that went wild. Yeah, it didn't make sense to me also the entire way that he fought. And I'm going to say, he got dropped, he got up. I'll give him credit for that. He could have got up from that second knockdown. And I know that because he got up at 11 was perfectly fine. He admitted defeat. He gave in. That was the mentality to me. Now, you can tell me all day, Luke, you don't know, he could be hurt. That liver shot hurts. I understand. I get it. I do. But when you get up right after 11, he didn't stay there and stay down. No, that motherfucker, I'm good.
I got
you win.
Jules.
You're the good guy.
I got it.
Go get him, Rob.
If he stayed down, he stays hurt. Okay, you're not magically cured at the count of 11 where you're just, oh, okay, yep, good fight.
I got something for you, Lucas. Listen.
Go for it.
You talk about the kid lacking mental fortitude, okay? Honestly, I think he used mental fortitude in the fact that he admitted to himself, I'm not going to win this fight. I'm going to go ahead and lose with dignity and come back and fight another day. Because he immediately says he wants to fight Tank again further down the road.
Did you hear what Jules said earlier? 1.4 million buys. Shit, I'll fight fucking Tank. These excuses to me is like, I wanted that fight again. No, come on, man.
How am I using an excuse? I said the man lost. He said he lost.
No, but it's
not.
You're using it as a reason to be like, oh, well, that's virtuous because he wants to fight him again. Who's gonna turn down millions of dollars? Of course, he wants to fight him again.
Right, and not only that, but I feel like.
But now he has to fight back to get to that level. He has to go all the way back to the drawing board.
When in the history of boxing did you have to earn your spot in boxing? You don't. You don't have to earn shit in this sport. Look at Jake Paul.
Did he get a rematch clause? No, he didn't get no rematch clause. There ain't no rematch in that clause there. He's
Tank
gonna
had
have
it
to
though.
fight his way back.
Correction, Bob. Correction. There was a rematch clause, but there was a
For
rematch
Tank.
clause towards Tank, not towards
Right.
Garcia. I give him props for that. I give him props for taking the fight, building the fight, enduring to be great. Even when a lot of same thing with like Mikey Garcia when he fought Spence. A lot of people were
Absolutely.
saying, "Oh, nah, he's chewing more than what he can bite." Well, you gotta give props to that. I'll give him props to all of that. But when you say, "Well, it wasn't his night. He could come back better," listen, if you get it beat up and you can really tell that you're already giving you 100% and you're still coming up short, then
Mhm.
yeah, that's when your corner to stop the fight or the ref or the doctor stop the fight. Come back another day. You give it your all and nothing. A lot of people feel like Ryder didn't give his 100%, and he already. To me, I'm kind of with Lucas. I don't think he gave up. I don't think he quit. But I think like after the second knockdown, the second round knockdown with the uppercut, and then the body shot. And I know he was hurt after that, but my point is like he probably made the decision with himself where he realized like shit, it's just gonna get worse from now. From now on, it's just gonna get worse. So
Which
let
is
me
mental
stay faith.
fortitude, right?
Let me say
Mental
faith,
fortitude.
and you know what I'm saying? Just call it right here because blah blah blah. I mean, yeah, we understand the whole thing with the mental issues and stuff like that. But you gotta understand this is the fighting business. This is a hurt business. If if you feel like there's a lot of tangibles that might not give you a better chance, then don't take it or do something else. But if you're doing this, a lot is expected from you. And the boxing fans are very, very demanding. So I'm not writing him off. I think he's young, he can come back. But he still have a lot to work on. And if there's something that he should learn from this is that all those flashy videos on IG, all those videos where he's looking for speed and all of that, that shit might look good on IG. It might look flashy. It might bring you fans and make people think that you're the man. People that don't know nothing about boxing, but anybody of us that been in the game, seeing that shit is like, yeah, well, let's see how that shit is gonna help you in fight night. And we all
Yeah, you froze there, Javi. But I hear what you were saying, and I think the same way. I mean, it seems like he was trying to save face with that knockdown, and that knockout with Tank. But we're gonna switch topics. We're almost near the end here, Rob. I do got to get your take on this. Wilder arrested on gun charges.
Wait, hold on. How long ago did this happen? I'm sorry, Rob.
Last night, I believe.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. I didn't even read that.
Yeah. So another one, y'all. Another one. Come on, guys.
Javi's
You
picture
have
frozen is hilarious.
you have
Sorry.
you have
Go ahead, bro.
you have to learn the gun laws in these states that you are visiting in, okay? You do have the right to protect yourself in certain states. You have concealed carry in certain states. So I understand where Wilder is coming from with the tweet that he gave in response to the arrest saying, I'd rather be safe than sorry. Okay. There's an issue I take with that statement because, again, you have to know the gun laws in the state that you are visiting. He is in LA, one of the toughest states for gun laws. There is no concealed carry law. You cannot have it on you like that. It needs to be locked up in a safe, not loaded. So, Deontay Wilder, when you're out there in your fucking Rolls Royce with tinted windows, you know you're going to be profiled. You know you're going to be stopped. You know you're going to be pulled over. Why do you have it on you in a state where it's illegal? It is a felony. It is one of the lesser felony charges. But still, you have to be careful. You need to know the laws of the state that you're in. And with all the issues that we have going around, I know you want to be safe. You earned a lot of money. You're in a Rolls Royce. You should have a security team that takes care of that for you.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to argue against that. My only thing is like, is it society that's changed so much that these guys can't walk down the street, or is it the way they carry themselves? What is it? Muhammad Ali was embraced. He could walk down the street just fine. Yeah, he would gather a crowd, but it wasn't a crowd that wanted to do any harm to them. Mayweather can't go get his own groceries. He can't pick up his kid from his school. He can't do any of this stuff, right? These people aren't beloved.
Yeah, I hear you, Lucas, but you're talking about Ali. I mean, once again, Ali was a beloved figure, you know what I mean? And the times have changed where, you know, he I mean, once again, he was a cultural icon. You know what I mean? Cultural icons are not going to be limited by their sport, if that makes sense. You know, it just got to the point where Ali transcended boxing, obviously because of the stance he was of Vietnam and things of that nature, and you know, becoming a cultural icon.
Well, don't you think it could work with other fighters, though? I mean, you could say the same with Frazier, maybe even Arturo Gatti. Like, these are fighters that are loved and could do these things.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, let's be honest. I think, you know, once again, I don't know why. I understand Wilder's whole thing about better safe than sorry, but you know, once again, it's you know, to go back to Floyd Mayweather, just hire security. You know, you're a multi-millionaire. You can hire security if you feel that way. And personally speaking, I just think that people are just getting crazier. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just getting to the point where people see athletes and it's like they're not respecting their personal space. You know what I mean? They're not respecting their privacy and they're losing their minds. And I understand what Wilder's saying about being safe and sorry, but you know, once again, you don't have to have a gun, especially if you know about California. California was actually an open carry state until the Black Panther Party started going around with guns, and that's when they became you had to have a license to have a gun. And it's like, Wilder, you need to know that, especially being a black man, the reason why you need a license to carry a gun in California. You know, so it's like you got to have security. You know what I mean? If you feel that you can't go out safely.
Yeah, I mean, carrying can be just as dangerous. You know.
Yeah,
you gotta be careful, but I think
Jules, that was well said.
It was, it really was.
That was well said.
And Steve, Rob's dad got to agree with you. Blatantly stupid. Hire a bodyguard. He's got the money for it. Ain't no reason for it. I'm in the show with that. I definitely want to thank you, Jules and Rob, for coming on. Thank you all for tuning in again. Every Tuesday,
Javi, even though you froze up.
You froze up. Sorry, Javi.
I know, right?
But yeah, don't forget to tune us in every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Go Warriors, Rob. We'll see you again next Tuesday.
HeavyBagBoxing.com, everybody.
That's right. Have a good one.